Welcome. I'm Noah Mckenna from Soundmoves, and this next class we are going to look at the standing position. So before I was developing sound moves using resonant frequency breathing, creating music, and focusing very much on the physiology of practice. My previous career, I qualified as a chiropractor, and I worked as a yoga therapist for many years. I taught anatomy for almost a decade, and as we move into this sequence, which is looking at the standing position, I want to share with you a lot of information about posture and alignment and how we can ease our way into finding an optimum standing position. So let's just get started. As we're standing up, we're going to step the feet just a little wider than the hips, and we're going to bring our fingertips up to touch like so, and we're going to unlock and bend the knees. And now have a look down at your feet and just notice the direction that the toes are pointing. Do they point straight or do they point slightly out to the sides? There are different body types. It's a lot to do with what's happening in the hips and the legs, how they relate to the pelvis, and these are largely genetic patterns. There are some people who really just have a skeleton that means they need to have the toes pointing out. And there are some people who have the toes pointing parallel or slightly inwards. The average is a slight turnout. And so if you don't want to teach an entire anatomy class every time you're teaching a yoga class, you would just say, have the toes pointing slightly outwards, but feel free to make any changes that you like. But in your own case, you can learn exactly what your body's pattern is. So take that information, and we're going to practice with the toes just slightly out. It's about 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 30 degrees is too much. We're going to bring the fingertips up to touch, and we're going to bend the knees. And when you bend the knees and unlock, you're really going to feel the weight on the feet. And in this position, we're going to practice some resonant frequency breathing. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Let the music guide the breath. In. And with the knees bent, place your hands softly over your abdomen. And check in. Can you breathe into your hands when you're standing? Breathing in, diaphragm presses down, abdomen expands. Breathing out, just relax. Breathing in, breathing out. One more. Bring your hands up with your fingertips to touch. Take the elbows slightly out, relax the shoulders down. Breathing in, straightening the legs slowly, but not completely. Breathing out, bending them just a little. Continue. Breathing in. Breathing out. Make the movement smooth. Feel everything. Straightening the legs. Bending the knees. You can look down towards the floor. Breathing in. Breathing out. Bend. And now let's shift the weight onto the right foot, but don't straighten completely. Bend with both knees to find the center of gravity. shift that center of gravity over and press through the left foot and bend. And shifting to the right, to the center, to the left, to the center, and then just stay in the center. Put your hands on your belly, breathe into the hands. Breathing in, expanding the abdomen. And breathing out, relaxing. Breathing in, the abdomen expands. Breathing out, and it relaxes. Bring your fingertips up to touch, elbows slightly open. Relax the shoulders, look to the fingers. And again, straighten with both legs at the same time. Bend with both knees. But now feel your pelvis and feel the tailbone. As we bend the knees, slightly tuck the tailbone under. Relax the pelvis as you straighten your legs. The tailbone lifts, the tailbone tucks. For most people, this is the majority. Straightening the legs with a free pelvis, bending the knees, slightly tucking under. Straightening the legs. And the last one, bend the knees just a little. Now stay here with the tailbone slightly tucked under. A gentle lift of the chest, the shoulders back and down, and a slight tuck of the chin. Looking at the fingertips, breathe into the belly. And when you exhale, gently draw your abdomen in. Breathing gentle and soft through the nose. Keeping the breath as small and as light as possible. Let the music guide. And let's take a last breath here. Breathing out, gently draw the abdomen in. And now straighten up the legs. And let's bend the knees and touch the ground. And coming down to sit, taking any position. I'm just going to finish by relaxing in the seated position with the hands on the knees. Close your eyes. Feel your body. And breathing softly through the nose. Letting the music hold the timing. Let your breath become very small. Breathing in. And breathing out. Take our last breath. Keeping your eyes closed, bring the fingertips up to touch. This is called Anjali Mudra, in front of the chest. The elbows slightly out. Keep your eyes unfocused if possible. Keep breathing very gently. And slightly open the eyes. With the next inhale, focus on your fingers as the eyes open. Let's touch the forehead to fingertips. Lift the head back up. And placing the hands down. So, finding your natural breath. Welcome back. This is the first class on the standing position, so it's an introduction to the different variabilities, the foot position, and we'll go into all of the details, specifically how wide the feet, the rotation, whether the weight is forwards or back on the foot, and how the foot relates to the knee position and the pressure in the two meniscuses, whether the knees are in or out, whether the knees are bent or straightened, and how that relates to the hip position, internal or external rotation, flexion or extension, and that relates to the pelvic position, which relates to the abdomen, to the chest, to the neck. When we connect everything, we have the eyes, which are orienting the head at one end, and then we have the feet, which are orienting the pelvis and the tailbone at the other end. And we're going to put all of these things together. We're going to look at all of the different variables. I'm going to share with you what I think is the optimum, what I believe is the most accessible, most healthy way to explore your body and to teach with others, and understanding that everyone is different. So it's necessary really to look at all of these different potentialities if we're going to be recommending to people what we feel might be best for them. The great thing, of course, is that this is not dangerous. We're not grinding the joints. We're not putting too much pressure on the joints. We're not overstretching. We're not holding the positions too long. And the other amazing thing is that because we're using resonant frequency breathing, this is reducing the sympathetic tone, and that sympathetic nervous system is sending signals to particular muscle groups, causing constant stress, constant tension in the muscles. So resonant frequency breathing reduces a lot of that background tension, makes it much easier to unwind, to melt, to dissolve, to soften. And of course, when we find a diaphragmatic abdominal breath in the standing position, then we really start to bring the meditation into everyday life with the eyes open, on the feet, still finding how to be centered, how to be grounded. So in the next class, we're going to start going into individual details, and all of this is constructed in a way that translates to yoga classes. So I'm blending a lot of different things together. I hope this is fun and I hope this is interesting for you. Thank you.